Bringing you the latest news from around the world, and here at home I'm Sandaru Ferdinando.
And I'm Sarah Fonseca. But before we head into our stories, first we'll take a look at your headlines.
Operation to relocate Singharaj elephants casting aside President's instructions fail. Singharaj at risk of being delisted as UNESCO World Heritage Site. Mahela, Murali and Mahanama turned down request to join SLC as consultants. Suspects in the shooting of the Kirivehera monk still at large. Steps taken preventing them from leaving the country. Mahinda Rajapakse says who he wants must be the 2020 presidential candidate.
Into one of your leading stories now, 3 former Sri Lankan Test cricketers have turned down the offer to serve as consultants for Sri Lanka cricket.
Sri Lanka Cricket CEO Ashley De Silva yesterday announced that Sri Lanka Cricket has proposed for the appointment of a committee comprising of Sri Lanka cricket legends Kumar Sangakkara, Mahela Jayawardena, Aravinda De Silva and Roshan Mahanama to be consultants on matters relating to cricket areas. In response, Mahela Jayawardena says he spent 1 year in the cricket committee and 6 months in a special advisory committee and no recommendations put forward by them were implemented. Jayawardena says he does not have any trust in the system and requests if anyone wants to buy time, please don't use them. Legend Roshan Mahanama has also responded to the offer. Mahanama says absolute honesty, transparency and strict adherence to accepted norms and practices in all dealings connected to SLC are of paramount importance. In a letter to the Minister of Sports, Mahanama says he is not available to accept the offer unless these issues are properly addressed and resolved. In addition, spin wizard Muttaya Muralidharan, though appreciating the invitation, says it is sad that national cricketers are not consulted until operations hit rock bottom. While rejecting the offer, Muralidharan notes he stands by the sentiments expressed by Mahela Jayawardena. After the appeal court decision, I was compelled to appoint a vested authority. In addition, we are aware of the paramount importance of the participation of cricketers for the progress of the game in the country. Such individuals are a resource to the nation. I wish to ask them how ethical it is to turn down this offer. They have gained something from Sri Lanka cricket. If we gain something, we must know to give back as well. One can point the finger at a system or a person. As the Minister of Sports, I play this game with responsibility. I have given those personalities the ability to operate independently. Their service is of paramount importance for the progress of Sri Lanka cricket. It is my view they need to review their decision.
No arrests have been made as yet. All incident where an attempt was made on the life of the chief incumbent of the Kirivehera temple in Kathragama. However, a senior police officer for the area said that the suspects have been identified and measures have been taken to prevent them from leaving the country.
The chief incumbent of the Kirivehera temple in Kathragama, injured in the shooting, is being treated at a private hospital in Colombo, and a spokesperson said he is out of danger. Police said the suspect who opened fire at the chief incumbent and another monk on Tuesday night were identified hours after the incident took place. Police said the former Kapu Mahatya of the Mahasen Devalaya in Kathragama, Asela Bhandara, is the chief suspect of the incident. Police said the other suspects were the brother of the chief suspect and the assistant at the temple. However, they are yet to be arrested. Speaking to Newsfirst, police said they are investigating the telephone communication between the suspects. The SUV used for the shooting is currently placed at the Kathragama police.
The IGP instructed to deploy 8 teams for the investigations. The suspects are not staying in one location. We are investigating around 20 locations used by the suspects to hide. We hope to make the arrests soon. The investigations are successful.
If the chief suspect is the former Kapu Mahatya of the Mahasen Devalaya, it cannot be that he was not aware there was armed guards with the chief incumbent at all times. Yet none of the security officers had discharged their weapons against the suspects.
The chief incumbent was given police officers and 2 village security personnel. They made an attempt to apprehend the suspects. The officer has not opened fire despite it being an opportunity to do so. The officer is being questioned why he did not retaliate.
It is now reported the shooting could have been politically motivated and goes beyond the issue of right at the Mahasen Devalaya.
Before the chief incumbent took up the role, that position was held by the Venerable Aluttava Sodathatero. After his passing, Venerable Kobavakatero was to be appointed based on seniority. Yet he was not given that position. It was given to a junior in the ranks called Vachissara. That was done according to the Rajapakse law. Thereafter, the Mahanayaka of the Malwatu chapter had to intervene. Then Venerable Kobavakatero was made the chief incumbent. But he was not allowed to operate. They spread rumours about him. So who placed him in a position to be shot at? There are reports of the assassination of the Kirivehera temple Tero. It is not an assassination. You should ask it from the Tero. He can speak now. Maybe they want to assassinate the Tero. People are spreading their opinions on Facebook and social media. They say this was done by Gotabaya or someone else. They said another group did this as well.
Former President Mahinda Rajapakse and former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapakse paid homage to the temple of the sacred tooth relic.
Former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapakse visited the temple of the tooth relic before former President Mahinda Rajapakse.
Usually, whatever they discussed during these meetings are not published. You will hear rumors. We will just wait and watch. No, we as a party have not taken a decision. We will let you know when we make the decision. Even President Sirisena was revealed during the last moment. Yes, there's a debate like that. That is why I said we cannot tell you who the candidates are. That's right. No one can refuse if I ask them to run for the elections.
Former Minister Basil Rajapakse expressed the following views in Gaul.
We cannot move away from the right to information, media freedom and freedom of movement. Sometimes the situation is different to what it was during our government. We were battling against the most ruthless form of terrorism. At such times, there may have been certain shortcomings. Sometimes we might have gone over the limit. I am aware of what happened in Ratapaswala at the Kotanaika Free Trade Zone as well as in Chilau and in Negombo. We cannot do such things in future governments. We need a clear decision. I wonder if this is a conspiracy. There were people who tied others to trees in Gampaha as well.
The collective of national organizations convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
Gotabaya Rajapakse is having his legs on either end of the banks. If he wins and becomes the president of Sri Lanka, he will remain, and if he loses, he will be in America. We hope to see the political defeat of a person like Gotabaya Rajapakse who had dictatorial attitudes. We do not want to win by technical glitches. We not only defeated Mahinda Rajapakse, we defeated the Rajapakse family culture, and many other things. The people want to defeat Gotabaya Rajapakse as well. The people are not prepared to see the country be flattened by such dictatorial political governance.
Deputy Minister of Public Administration and Law and Order Nalin Bhandara arrived at the Police Financial Crimes Division to provide a statement this morning.
Police media spokesperson Espiruan Gunasekar said the Deputy Minister has lodged a complaint about irregularities carried out when purchasing 2 ships for the Ceylon Shipping Corporation Limited during the former regime. The FCID had summoned Deputy Minister Nalin Bhandara to record a statement with regard to this case.
It was a deal of $70 million, but at the time the ship was purchased for some between $40 to $50 million. There is corruption in this. The information has now come to light. We have made progress. An underhand deal of $20 million had taken place. What is serious is that money had been taken from the People's Bank for this. There is a daily loan installment of $15,000 on this loan. In addition, there is another cost of $5,000. For a day, a sum of $25,000 is being spent on one ship. Because of these actions, for 3 years the vessels are left idle. This deal had taken place in 2014. The officials at the time still hold office.
The operation to relocate the 2 rare elephants in the Singharaja Forest Reserve, casting aside the order given by the President himself, was abandoned this evening. The reason for this was the Sri Lanka Air Force veterinary team withdrawing from the operation.
On the 5th of June, the director of the UNESCO World Heritage Centre, Mitchell Rossler, in a letter addressed to the Sri Lankan ambassador to France, says the centre had received information regarding the proposed translocation of the last 2 wild elephants in the Singharaja Forest Reserve. The ambassador was also sent the information annex in accordance with the operational guidelines for the implementation of the World Heritage Convention. Thereafter, an additional secretary to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs informs the contents of this letter in writing to the Ministry of Sustainable Development and Wildlife. The communication highlights the government of Sri Lanka is committed not to change the nature of this ecosystem. As a result, the President had given instructions to immediately stop the operation of capturing these 2 wild elephants. The attempts made by the Department of Wildlife over the recent days to capture these 2 wild elephants, citing they were roaming in the villages in the Singharaja Reserve and causing damage to property, was criticized by many factions. UNESCO had informed the government of Sri Lanka that they expect a response within a month of receiving their letter. The President yesterday ordered the Ministry of Environment to suspend the operation of translocating the last 2 elephants of the Singharaja Forest Reserve. The President had called for a proper report and inquired the matter from the respective officials. At a time when the President had understood the risk of the Singharaja Forest being delisted from the World Heritage Site list and ordered for the suspension of the operation, Subject Minister Sarath Fonseca, however, acting in a completely different manner. The minister had instructed the Department of Wildlife Conservation to continue the operation and translocating these 2 elephants today.
We did not receive any orders to stop the operation. It was on the news that I witnessed such an order had been given. However, the President had not given such an order to me or my Ministry Secretary or even the Director General of Wildlife. The operation continued. This morning I spoke to the President. I explained it to him. If these 2 elephants are not translocated, the villagers would not remain idle. Until now, no punishment has been given to people who fired at elephants. Therefore, if they are not moved, in a month or 2, these 2 elephants would be killed. People will also be killed. I explained it to the President.
In the recent days, the vet officers of the Department of Wildlife Conservation engaged in trade union action. As a result, 2 vets from the Sri Lanka Air Force were deployed for this operation. However, they were recalled by the Air Force this evening.
I was told the President had ordered to recall those 2 vets from the Sri Lanka Air Force. The operation had been stalled. We will inquire what needs to be done next. I have not changed my stance as the Minister of Environment. The 2 elephants will have to be translocated for the betterment of the animals and the people. At the Ministry of Environment, the President issued an order yesterday. He wanted for the 2 elephants to be kept at the forest reserve and conserved. It was proposed to construct a fence and a wildlife office in the area. The President called for a report on the matter. However, Minister Sarath Fonseca, using his military attitude, without understanding the importance of these resources, continued to attempt to forcefully relocate these 2 animals, disregarding all rules and regulations. We condemned this act. If these animals are harmed, we will be taking legal action.
Settlements have been constructed by invading into the native grounds of elephants. Therefore, what needs to be done when elephants roam into villages? Is translocating these elephants from the Singharaja Forest Reserve the only option for conservation? Why are narrow-minded decisions made, casting aside the task of protecting this ecosystem, which has been listed as World Heritage Site?
A bus was presented to the Vihara Gala Mahavihara in Surivava today.
The bus, which was donated, is worth 3.5 million rupees. The event was attended by the Deputy Leader of the United National Party and the Minister of Housing and Construction, Sajith Premadasa.
I was accused for obtaining money from the bond scam and was asked to present an affidavit. I am not a political smuggler who stole money from the bond scam. Who wants me to provide an affidavit? The underworld drug smugglers in Hambantota. I will not provide any affidavit when drug businessmen in Hambantota request for it.
මම දිවුරුම් ප්‍රකාශ දෙන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. හම්බන්තොට දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ කුඩු මුදලාලිගේ ඉල්ලීම.
An associate of Vele Sudha was arrested in the Mahavihara area in Piliandala for the possession of more than 2 kilograms of heroin. The arrest was made during a raid carried out by the Police Narcotic Bureau.
During the raid last evening, police seized 2 kilograms and 120 grams of heroin from the suspects. Police also seized a repeated firearm and 12 bullets, a locally manufactured revolver, 3 9mm bullet and gold jewellery of over 20 pounds. The suspect is a 35-year-old from Panadura and was peddling drugs in the Piliandala area.
So far this year, we have managed to seize 33 kilograms and 751 grams of heroin. We arrested 14,598 suspects. In addition, so far this year, we seized 2,309 kilograms of Kerala ganja and arrested 22,010 suspects.
The Gammadda Vadadahasak initiative today provided a solution to an issue that caused serious discomfort to the people living in Poppitia, Udumbara.
Around 500 families are living in the Poppitia area in Udumbara Divisional Secretariat in the Kandy district. This was the footbridge the locals had to use to cross the Gedara Oya and enter their village. As of late, this bridge has been in a dilapidated state, causing serious discomfort to the locals. These people are forced to walk around 5 kilometers to reach their homes on a rainy day and face many issues with regard to their only source of income, which is agriculture. Based on a request made by the villagers to the Gammadda General Secretariat, the footbridge was removed and constructed of a new 60-foot long bridge began on the 14th of September last year. MA's intimates came forward to financially support this initiative. The new bridge was declared open this morning and it has been named after Chanuka Sandruwan, who passed away after being washed off by strong currents of the flood in the area.
A bridge is a place of connection. There is a road here, but it is separated because of the bridge. If not for this road, we will not be able to witness the beauty of these surroundings. Bridges build connections, and I see this as building connections with lives as well. Our objective is that we need to support the lives of the people serving in our organization and be involved with them. The Sivasa Media Network is setting an example to all the other media by reaching out to the most rural villages and identifying the needs of the people. Leadership means bringing the villagers together, casting aside their political religious affiliations. You cannot seek leadership by force. It must come naturally.
Minister Ranjit Madhuma Bhandara made the following remarks at the Madhura Ketiya Vidyalaya in Munaragala.
Chamara Sampath Desanayaka questioned why I look at the Munaragala area more often. In Munaragala, imports are higher than the exports. Goods come from Hambantota and Balapitiya without notice. Chamara Sampath Desanayaka was scared. I got to know not only is he wanting to come to Munaragala, he wants to join the UNP as well. There is no issue. We want to work together. We want to develop the Munaragala district.
A male teacher who had sexually abused 2 female students in a private tuition class in Vatukote, Jaffna, was arrested today.
The Malacca magistrate ordered to remand the suspect until the 28th of this month after he was produced before court. The suspect is a 41-year-old male teacher teaching mathematics. A group of unidentified individuals have set the private tuition class on fire after the suspect was arrested.
Fishermen in Jaffna are facing difficulties as 3 lighthouses in the area are not functioning.
The lighthouse in Kankasanture was not functioning since time the war was ongoing 30 years ago. The lighthouse was painted and the light was not fixed, although funds were allocated. The Kolam lighthouse, which was built in 1916 in Karainagar, was not functioning after 1990. The lighthouse is in a dilapidated state with no steps taken to renovate it. Fishermen who set to sea are facing difficulties due to the dilapidated state of the house. The lighthouse located in the harbour of Point Pedro is also not functioning. The fishermen who set to sea from Vedamarachi are facing difficulties when returning back to the shore.
Parents should be very vigilant about the safety of their children. A situation where a child's life was at risk was reported from Deniaya.
On the 13th, a 10-year-old child had left her house and had gone to a shop 200 meters away from the home in the New Gamini estate in Deniaya. The grandmother of the child had lodged a complaint with the police when the child had not returned home after a long time. The police came across CCTV footage which shows the child travelling in a three-wheeler with an elderly male during the search operation. According to the police, the male suspect had arrived in the area looking for an employment opportunity. The individual who abducted the child travelled to the Deniaya town in one three-wheeler and then to Rakwana on another three-wheeler. When he arrived in Rakwana, noticing he did not have the sufficient money for the three-wheeler, he promised the three-wheeler driver to pay the due amount later. The three-wheeler driver who suspected the individual informed the police. On the same day, the Rakwana police located the child thereafter and arrested the suspect who tried to abduct her. The child was admitted to the Deniaya hospital for a medical checkup and handed her over to her guardians. The police say they were able to locate the child and return her back to her guardians before she was taken away by the suspect. This unfortunate incident shows the parents should think twice before letting small children associate with unknown individuals.
Jean Arsanagam, who won the Gration Prize 2017 for her work titled The Life of the Poet, has contributed immensely towards the English literature circuit in Sri Lanka for over 4 decades. Newsfirst Dasuni Athauda caught up with the veteran writer and filed this report.
Arsanayagam's writing was commended by the judges for its erudition and sophistication and for its ability to explore and exploit her own personal experiences as a poet, to reflect on the life and view the world as a poet more generally. While the collection is deeply personal, it maintains a fine balance between the personal and the general and speaks to themes that resonate with society and life at large.
Starting things off, did the young Jean Arsanagam ever imagine she would become a well-known and acclaimed author that she is today?
My first poem was written when I was 12 years old. I don't belong to one particular clan or group or race or whatever. I am just open-minded, I'm liberal-minded, and I do not fit into the divisiveness of ethnicity. And that is something I'm extremely firm about. And for me, awards do not mean any kind of celebrity status or material gain. Those do not count in my agenda. It's the creativity, the inspiration, and what through the years I have learned of giving of oneself and carrying on this mission to change the world. That's what the writer has to do, without fear.
The Gration Prize was founded in 1993 by the Sri Lankan-born writer Michael Ondaatje after he won the Booker Prize for the English Patient. The prize is awarded each year to the best submitted creative work in English, written by a Sri Lankan writer resident in Sri Lanka.
Former lead singer of the original Bonniam band, Elizabeth Rebecca Mitchell, also well known as Liz Mitchell, arrived in Sri Lanka this afternoon. Bonniam lead vocalist Liz Mitchell will perform in Bonniam Live in Sri Lanka featuring Liz Mitchell at Sri Lanka Exhibition and Convention Centre at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Newsfirst Azra Asan caught up with her this evening.
Some artists, as we know, music lasts maybe for a period of time and no one sort of expects to hear from them again. But our music have just continued to grow in the families. And I mean, it seems to me like the people who were young 40 years ago who loved the music never stopped loving it. and their children grew with it. And so I think this is a tradition.
You are the lead singer, the only lead singer of the original band, and you've come a long way and you're still in the industry going strong. What is your secret to success?
Wow. You know, the success of Boneyam's music is not, I cannot take credit for it. I give credit to God. I was a young girl at the time. I did not know that I had a sound. I knew I loved to sing, but I was a little bit one of those insecure young people and didn't know that I had any value or sound. We produced all these beautiful songs, Sunny, you know, Daddy Cool.
Talking about the most anticipated event tomorrow, are you excited? Are you excited to meet your fans in Sri Lanka?
Wow, I am so excited. And, you know, I don't know if you know it, but it just reminds me so much of Jamaica. Because maybe it's because it's an island. And I am looking forward to the audience singing along, cheering along, and just having a wonderful time with us. It's going to be great.
The Colombo Grand Mosque announced earlier this evening that Muslims in Sri Lanka will be celebrating Ramzan tomorrow after the new moon was sighted. I'm Sandro Ferdinando.
And I'm Sarah Fonseca. An accident took place last evening on the Colombo-Kandy main road, and it was captured on CCTV cameras set up close by. We'll leave you tonight with footage of this accident. Luckily, no lives were lost. Good night.